my
Hello.
father-in-law had been
Hello.
watching a program um, all about South Africa, not far from where I was, and where they have the wars between the different gangs and stuff.
Yeah,
And I was like a mile from where I was, so
yeah,
he was too afraid to tell Sarah while I
yeah.
was over there.
Hello,
Hey,
mate.
how we doing?
Hello. I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can hear
yeah,
you. I
yeah,
hear
good.
you well.
Good.
Go on.
Sorry, anyway,
Oh,
you were
have you just
talking
had a
about the
shave?
gang. What are you talking about? The gangs in South Africa?
Well, we were talking. I was on about Terry is had to have an operation, and he was really nervous about. Well, he said he had a funny feeling about being put under.
Right.
And I said I had a similar sort of feeling when I traveled abroad and I went to South Africa. And
Yeah.
I remember sort of like saying to my wife and my daughter at the airport and thinking, I ain't going to see him again.
Right.
And
Got
then checking in thinking, why am I going? This is for work. Do you know what I mean? Obviously,
yeah.
it all went all right and everything.
Yeah.
But then while I was over there, because I went to Cape Town, my father-in-law watched a documentary. I think it was Reggie Yates had done this documentary about the gang wars in Cape Town, in the
Well, the
township.
flats.
Yeah, in the township.
Yeah.
And I was a mile from there, and he watched it sort of like 2 days after I flew over, and I was over there for a fortnight, and he was too worried to tell Sarah anything about it. And then I watched it when I come home, and obviously that
I mean, yeah. I mean, South Africa is it's Cape Town all around there. It's dangerous, man.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you've got the nice areas, but a wrong turn.
yeah,
You know.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
It's
because I was told
dangerous.
not to go because I had the weekend to myself, and I was told don't go there, don't go here, don't go there. And then on
Yeah.
the
I
Monday morning.
mean, there's a lot of cities like that around the world, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, Newport's the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my family live in New York, and there's like lots of parts of New York are still well dodgy.
Yeah, yeah. That's it, isn't it?
Anyway, shall we
Anyway,
start this? Yeah,
yeah. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm okay. Are we recording right now? Are we?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
okay.
He's
Oh,
slowly
okay.
on record. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
like
I'm
Joe
all right.
Rogan.
What's the time? It's just gone 7. It's a bit past my bedtime, if I'm honest with you. I go to bed quite early. I get up really early, about 5 a.m. normally. So yeah, I like it. I used to burn the candle at both ends, but I don't do that anymore. I haven't done it for many, many years. So
Yeah.
I, I just find I get more work done the earlier I wake up.
All right,
Okay.
okay.
Mm.
I see
Oh.
you're all shaved. You must have had a shave especially for us.
Well, did I have a beard the last time we talked?
No, you had a poor mustache because I actually watched it earlier,
Oh,
and
right, okay.
you promised you were going to grow the beard back, ready to speak to us again.
I never got around to growing the beard, man. It's really funny, because beards age you a lot, and I
Mine,
have quite,
mine makes me look younger.
yeah, I have quite a baby face. So when I have the beard, people look at me quite weirdly because they see the beard, it's grey. Then they look at my face and they can't, doesn't quite compute. Yeah,
Yeah.
so, but I'm gonna grow it back, yeah, at some point. Yeah, definitely.
Because the last time I had a long beard, didn't I, Dave?
Yeah, yeah. It was you were like Gandalf.
Yeah, I had a long beard down here. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember. So that was a while ago last time we spoke,
Well,
wasn't
I
it?
was trying to work it out because you said Poppy was 9 on
Was she?
the record, and that's what you said. Yeah.
So
It
I
can't
was
be
still
four
in the
years
wild.
ago.
I was still in the Wild Hearts then, man.
Yeah, yeah, it could be. I reckon it could have been
3 years ago.
I'd say it was very early 22
Yeah.
Right.
because
Okay.
you were talking about releasing your best of album and Lives
Right.
came out in 22. So I think it was very early in 22 when we spoke to you last time.
Yeah, very early in 22, there was still kind of noises of me and Richie working with Ginger again, but
Mm.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
All I remember was you taking the piss out of my beard all the time.
you
Well,
he did take a meg out
what
of it.
I
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
but me take
Yeah, for an
this.
hour.
Ah, what was it like?
My
Was
beard.
it tied in a
Oh, it
knot
was
on top of your head?
It
oh, it was
must have been.
probably I reckon it was about there.
Oh,
It
so it
was,
was well, what was I calling you Gandalf then?
I think
No,
you
you
all
actually called him
sorts.
the dwarf. I can't because I've never watched what's it called? Lord of the
Lord of the
Rings.
Rings,
You
yeah.
said he looked like the dwarf off it. 'Cause
Oh,
I always say
Gimli,
I always say he's a
Gimli.
mini Eddie Hall. That's what I call him. So if
It's like
anybody says, "What's your
yeah,
cousin?"
it's
Like I
like
said, he's a mini Eddie Hall.
is it Gimli?
Grimly, that's it.
Gimli, yeah.
Jimmy hasn't got a beard.
Anyway, I'm sorry I took the piss out of your beard.
I don't care.
I'll grow a beard back at some point, and then you can say I look like a Punjabi punk rock policeman because that's what I look like with a beard.
So you
I
got
tell you
go
what,
on.
this is a funny story. So when I had a beard, it was a well kept, groomed beard, and I do look like a Punjabi policeman. I have that kind of very Sikh sort of beard. My bloodlines are Hindu and Sikh, so
Mm,
I can grow very good. The Sikhs were the original hipsters, weren't they? If you
yeah.
think about it. And but you get treated differently when you've got a very like style beard and stuff like that. Older ladies were coming up and talking to me and
Yeah.
asking me if I like scones and stuff like that. It was
Oh.
and then the minute I shaved it off, I looked like a drug dealing, football playing, hip hop artist.
Yeah.
So who comes up to ask you about scones then?
What's that? No one does now. No, you need a beard to attract the lavender mob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah,
cream with that.
had to
Anyway.
take it to that level, didn't you, Gandalf?
Yeah, he did, yeah. So do you have the Blue Rinse Brigade come up to you, Tay, and ask you about scones?
No, mate.
No,
No,
No.
he's the Lord of the Ring.
he
He's
is,
all-
yeah.
Hey, I thought we were coming on here to talk about slots anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think we covered
Slots.
covered
I
some of
call them
it.
the lavender mobs. They're not slots. Right, we're starting to sound like Gino DiCaprio now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
Well, you've been
what do
really
you want to
busy
know about my?
before I was gonna say before we get the slots,
Yeah.
you've been really busy. So you released lives
Mm.
and split as well. So you
This is since we, yeah. So I released lives. I released a live album called Kick and Split.
yeah,
Yeah, and a
yeah,
demo album as well called The Building Blocks.
yeah. So you've been well busy.
I, the only way I can call this a job is by physically putting stuff out. If I don't put stuff out, I don't play live enough to make a wage from touring anymore. So unless I have something to sell that isn't hot sauce,
Mm.
I can't call this a job. The hard thing is trying to get people to buy hard copies of things, CDs and vinyl, rather than getting a digital download because that's how I make a living is selling vinyl and
Yeah,
CDs
yeah.
and
Yeah,
t-shirts, and it's getting harder and harder. I just think a lot of people, eventually there's going to be hardly any physical product left. It's such a niche market, and they say youngsters are getting into CDs and vinyl again, but not enough of them. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The digital, yeah, well, the digital revolution, if you like, has taken
Yeah,
over.
the world, you move forward.
Yeah,
You've got to move with the times, and we're soon to be of a bygone era. You know, no one in this Zoom room hits, and we're approaching the twilight of our lives.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We're well into the second half of our lives, and
yeah.
the world changes, and I've never seen myself as a Luddite. And in the Victorian times, I would have been hugged a steam engine. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I like listening to stuff on vinyl. I like listening to stuff digitally. I don't listen to I don't listen to anything on CD, but you got to roll with the times, and one of the best things about being alive is things changing and things moving, and whether you like it or not, that's not the point. You're not
Yeah,
here
that's
to
right.
keep
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
the same thing over and over again either.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, to be honest, like I'm going to be 59 this year, so that's how old I am. But like you said, in our lifetime, so much has come along. I think it's amazing. I do really, you
we
know.
we were right on. So I'm 57 now, and when I first started making albums, we were recording on tape. There was no
Mm.
computers or anything, and we were there when everything went from analog to digital,
Yeah,
and it that was a revolution in humankind. It was a massive change, and we saw that happen.
Yeah.
My son keeps, my son is only 10, and a couple of years ago he asked me what Netflix was like when I was a kid, and what games I played on the PC. So I had to explain to him, and he gets it now.
Yeah.
But he didn't understand. He didn't understand why we didn't have Netflix or have mobile phones or PCs or VR headsets.
Yeah. You watch Emmerdale on him.
You want to tell him why I missed the last interview?
Yeah, he was watching Emmerdale.
I was in my VR world. I had a VR headset on, and my alarm was going on my phone, and I completely ignored it because I was in this world. Have you ever put a VR headset on?
I haven't.
No,
yet.
I haven't. No.
No.
It is it's unbelievable. First time you go into a VR world, it's mind-boggling. It takes your breath away, and so I can watch movies. I put my headset on, and I have this little cabin on a tropical island.
Yeah.
I got a bar and everything there, and I watch movies on a screen as big as going to the cinema.
Yeah.
It's really hard to go to the cinema now or watch TV because I'm so used to being on my tropical island, and it is, it's incredible.
I think I tried it when they first came out, but I don't suppose there's nothing like that now.
No, I mean things. One of the good things about technology is it moves at a crazy pace. It's incredible. What's really good, like today, and about 5 months' time, it's considered old. But I do embrace. I do like a lot of technology, and I do like computers, and I like the best of everything.
Yeah, because you build your own computer, don't you?
Huh?
You built your own computer.
I did. I built my last 4 computers I had. Yeah.
I remember
And I was talking to some bloke last night about graphics cards. He loves it. Punk rocker talking about graphics cards.
Yeah. But I just think it's amazing. I mean, the stuff that I'd say the stuff I know I just sound like an old fart, really. The stuff that we've lived through and the stuff that we've seen come along, even like microwaves and stuff. It's just like, we've lived. Well, basically. I was like 4 in 1970, so I grew up really through the 70s when we didn't have anything like that, and then the microwave came out, then the mobile phone came out, and then obviously the digital music side came out. And
do you get quite what's the word is it nostalgic? Are you quite nostalgic?
I am a bit, yeah.
I do,
Yeah, because I was never nostalgic until I lost my mum and dad. I lost. My mum was about a year ago, and my dad. I lost them both in the space of about 19 months, and I was never nostalgic up until that point. It just I always kind of like looking forward and living in the now. But now I do get quite nostalgic thinking back to when they were alive and thinking about. So I thought a lot about the 70s, especially the 80s.
Yeah.
And if there's one period in history I could go back to, it would definitely be the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's probably the most influential period of your life, I guess. I mean, the same for me really was like end of the 70s, going through the 80s, because then I was a teenager. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So then you're exploring yourself as well as the world, didn't you?
Yeah.
I like the 80s as well. I like the music, and I like the way people looked in the bands and stuff like that, and it's like, I mean, the 70s there was a lot of change in the 70s as well, because through the music changed as well.
Yeah. It was all evolving all the time.
New wave, it's like really good. But anyway, we're supposed to be talking about my album, aren't we? Ask me a question about my album.
So you got a new album out called Slots.
Yeah.
Have you actually physically released it yet, or?
No, so I do pre-orders, so through my online shop, and it's the way I make a living is I stagger things. So the CD, people who pre-ordered the CD last year, I sent most of them out, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then the vinyl's supposed to land at the end of March.
Right.
it's coming on Tuesday. It's come like
All right, okay.
7 weeks early.
Yeah.
And so I'll send all that vinyl out. But the official release day is March the 28th.
Okay.
So, and that's when it goes on all the Spotify's and Apple Music and
Yeah.
Amazon and all that. Yeah, that's when it goes digitally. It comes out all around the world, and
All right.
everyone's able to hear it. But for now, people who have pre-ordered it are getting it way ahead of the
Oh,
release.
nice.
Yeah.
Have you got any vinyls left over?
Yeah, I think I've got about maybe 60 or 70 left
Oh, have
over.
you?
Yeah, what I do is see I kind of print to order and have a little bit more
Okay.
left over, but I tend to sell out of
Yeah.
my hard copies, and the ones I don't sell out of I take on tour. When I'm on tour, I sell them at gigs.
Yeah.
But there's no repressing or anything like that. Once they've gone, like my earlier albums, they've all gone.
Yeah.
You can't get them on vinyl or CD anymore. So I'm not about it, it's about giving value for money as well. So I'm thinking about the next album now, and I'm going through ideas for the next album, which I want to put out probably in September.
Okay.
So if I don't do that, it's get a job time.
Yeah.
Maybe work in a tea shop selling scones to old ladies.
There you go. You have to grow your beard back for
Yeah,
sure
grow your
now.
beard, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll order an album then. I will order one. I'll go on your website and order one.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean, the good thing with this album is see, the hardest thing when you've been making music as long as I have, and I'm approaching 60. It's less than 3 years off, and I've made a lot of albums with a handful of bands, and most musicians when they're approaching 60, they get stale.
Yeah.
They get a bit soft, whereas I'm getting harder with my music's getting tougher. It's more punk, and I've had great reviews on this album, really good reviews, some of the best I've ever had, and it fills me with joy knowing as I'm getting older, people are raving about my music and in a really, really positive way.
Yeah.
And I always said I'd never sell out and go country or go folk or go acoustic. It's just seriously, I'd rather get a job than ever go down that route. If I'm going out on fire really loud with my electric guitar.
Yeah. Well, talking about nostalgia, feeling nostalgic, listening to the album did make me quite nostalgic.
Which one?
Yeah.
The Slots?
Slots, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously I cut my teeth on punk music when it was the first time around punk music, if you like.
Yeah, with that, I mean that's intentional. I can only bounce off what my influences and what makes me excited, and I love the Clash. I love like the whole punk thing, that kind of energy they had. So I still vibe off that, and for people, it's been really hard for people to see me as a punk artist. They say my music's punk and roll, which I really like, but older punks are hearing my latest album and the last one and going, oh right, yeah, there's a lot of punk in this. And really hard because I came from a band like the Wildhearts who weren't a punk band, and it's quite hard sometimes. Punks can be quite snobbish.
Yeah.
But
right.
I think we're winning some of them over, and they as I should be. But if you listen to Slots, it's a punk rock album.
It is, yeah. And there's a lot of influences there from the Damned and like you said, the Clash. You got the Jam cover in there as well.
Yeah, some of the biggest punk bands, Busted, McFly. I'm influenced by the greats.
I won't go that far.
Serious, then.
No, you will bring out the punk snob in me in a minute. But you're right there. I mean, I'm really like punk snobbery, if you like. I mean, I listen to some of these bands today, and I'm like, they call themselves like, even when a Green Day first came out and stuff, it's like American punk, and it's like, why? I just can't get in. I like it, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of American punk, but I mean, I'll be lying if I say I'm still a Green Day fan. I kind of preferred their earlier stuff, but I mean, I'm a big Descendants fan, so they're one of my favorite bands, and I love like Bad Brains and all the Fishbone and all that kind of scene in the late 70s, early 80s, going through. I love that scene. Black Flag and all those bands, and but then if I had to choose one band who I'd go and see, a favorite band, which I don't have a favorite band, but it would be the Clash.
Yeah,
They would be.
okay, yeah.
I would choose, and if I had someone says if there's one band you'd love to see, I said they're the Clash at at their
At the
prime.
best, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see the Clash as well, to be honest. I mean, I've seen going back to the 80s, I've seen pretty much everybody else. So,
Yes, yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bands I missed due to age and the fact that they split up a lot of them before I could see them. But it's their music lives on,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, for sure.
what's really important, and it lives on through. It doesn't matter what format it's in.
Yeah,
It's still people still listen to it, and
yeah,
ultimately, that's what all you want people to do is listen to your music.
yeah,
I just wish I could connect more dots. And I struggle sometimes. I've always got drive and passion for this, but sometimes I think I could actually earn more money just doing a day job and
yeah,
to not have to put my fucking arse and soul on the line every time I put something out there. You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's right. I'm going to work probably for another 15 years and then retire at some point, maybe
Yeah,
20 years.
me
Push.
too.
And I've got to think, right, is it easier to do the next 15 years going, do you want some sauce on that, boss?
Yeah,
Or do I have to go and slave and make another 10 albums and you know what I mean? For
yeah, yeah,
for the same amount of money.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
there's only so many paintings you can paint, and it's like, oh, fuck this, man. I need an easier life.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, to be honest. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're all getting to that age where we suppose we've got to think about it a little bit more, but unfortunately. But
Yeah.
and talking about that, I mean, I listen to a vinyl sometimes and I think we've really been spoilt by this digital music stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so
Has he
clean and
been
crisp.
spoilt or spoiled? Like,
Spoilt.
why? Why is that? Well, because you've got
Just for the
everything.
just for the listening purposes of it. Because everything
Yeah.
is so clean, you know? Like you
Mm.
listen, I listen because I've got a really old like 70s amp and a 70s record player
Yeah.
deck, do you know what I mean? And you listen to vinyl obviously, and you hear all the usual crackles and stuff, and that's I suppose that's the joy of analog stuff. But then when you go back and you listen to something on Spotify or whatever, it's like fucking hell, we've been spoiled listening to this. Like,
It's I mean I think what's really good about this age is how easy it is to discover
yeah, also,
all the bands.
yeah,
It's really, really easy because when you're younger, you'd buy something on the back of a review, but you'd have to you this is your hard-earned money,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you take a risk, and
yeah.
like 5 times out of 10, the album you bought would only have one good song on it, a single. The rest of it would just be filler, you know what I mean? But
Depends who you bought. Depends who you bought.
you just like, yeah, a lot of, I mean, you think about like no band has made every single album's been amazing. You know what I mean?
Not every single album, no,
You
but
know, but you don't need to take that gamble anymore. You can listen to it for free before you buy the
yeah,
album, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
And if you really like it, then you should buy a CD or buy a vinyl if you've got, a record player and
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
talking about vinyl, last time we spoke, I didn't have a record player. I got a record player a year ago. It was
yeah.
my first record player in over 25 years.
Yeah, me too. I didn't have one either. I've only, well, how long ago was it, Dave? A couple of months ago?
Yeah, it's not long.
It's not
Weeks.
long now, yeah. It's a bit longer than weeks, but I've had it a few months.
Well, I'm discovering vinyl again, and it's been I buy one album a month, and it's
Yeah.
been buying like some of my favorite albums, and a few of them I've never heard on vinyl before, and it's been really good, like really
All
good.
right, okay.
Yeah, and hearing my latest album, Slots on vinyl, it's for me, it's the best solo album I've made on vinyl so
Okay.
far. It sounds authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's a lot of it down to you really as well with like with the nostalgia side of it, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like if the salesman and me would go like, "You don't want to buy the CD, man. You want to buy the vinyl. That's how you should hear my
Yeah,
album."
yeah, yeah.
Only one reason, because it costs more than the CD, makes more sense.
Yeah, of course.
It's all everything scones at the end of the day.
That's
But
it.
do you do you put extra tracks on your CD then?
No, no.
Just the same
The
as your
only
album.
I tell you, my best of album had one extra track on it. But like I've just had two albums released in Japan, and I'm touring there in about 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And the two albums, it's my best of album and Split, have just come out in Japan, and they both have two extra tracks, which are for the Japanese market
All right, okay.
on them. Yeah, they're exclusive tracks. It's a thing they used to do in Japan to stop Japanese fans buying imports.
All right, okay.
Because normally, traditionally, albums would come out later in Japan.
Yeah.
So they didn't want them to buy the album imported. Just wait, the album will come out and you'll get a couple of extra tracks
Okay.
on there.
Ah,
So
not
they've just kept it on now. Yeah. So normally when an album comes out in Japan, it will have an extra few tracks on it, bonus tracks.
Cool.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the Split just came out about 2 weeks in Japan. So they're a bit behind. I don't know what they're going to do with slots. I'm not too sure.
Hmm.
I'll talk to my record company when I'm out there in a few weeks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. See if you can get that one pushed a bit earlier, maybe.
What's that?
See if you can get that one pushed a bit earlier over there, perhaps.
What I'm thinking of doing is because I'm working on a brand new album now. I'm gonna talk to them about maybe doing a double album out there.
Right.
Slots and the brand new album I'm doing now, and I've got Richie's remixing one of the songs on Slots for me at the moment as well.
Which
So
one?
Richie Baxby, Bent,
Okay.
yeah. So he's doing like a kind of remix on that at the moment. So it'll be a bit more dancey, a bit
Yeah.
more industrial. Yeah, but that song kind of leans towards a remix. It's got scratching on it and stuff.
Yeah.
So and he likes the song. He likes what it's about, and he likes the vibe on it. So he said he wanted to do a remix, and if it's any good, I can use it. If it isn't, he doesn't care.
All right, okay. Very
enough.
good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He's
So
a talented boy.
what would you say is your favorite song off the album, off your new album, then?
You've got the best part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that track.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that's the next single that comes out on March the 28th. And we're gonna shoot that and probably Another Big Mistake, the first song on it. But You Got the Best Part of Me is I wrote that song for my wife. So it's basically a punk rock love song because if you're in love with someone, they should always get the best of you, the best part of you. And it doesn't matter, what you're in love with. That you always got to give that person, that animal, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
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 So we're shooting a video in Osaka and Tokyo, so it's going to be a really good video. So really looking forward to that one coming out. And it's always good when you write a song for loved ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not all the songs could be about being ripped off or some of the horrible, miserable people you've worked with.
Yeah, yeah. Go on, Dave.
So I was going to say I really like The Baddest Girl in the World as well. I've been listening to that a couple of times. That's a great track as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I like the video for it as well. The girl who made it for us, Debbie Strain, she made us look like we look like a punk rock band in some New York cellar.
Mm.
And yeah, it just there's a really good vibe to that song, the sound of it, the look of the video, and it's had me. I've got a lot of like airplay from it as well, more so than I normally get. A lot of people have picked up on that track, and it's great. It's great because I can't afford pluggers or anything like that. And most of the PR I do shout outs and try and get people to find me or approach me, ask me if I want to, come on the show. Hence, you guys getting me back. But Baddest Girl in the World. It's had a lot of attention, which I really appreciate. And it's always nice when people give you kudos for your hard work.
Definitely.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures. The one picture, what's that girl's name? The one picture you had on there, Erin, Erin something. You know the American girl with the big massive spikes.
Yeah, see, she's sitting down. Because I don't know. I asked Debbie to just pick random people.
Oh, right, okay.
I know the girl you're talking about, so I have no idea. So her name's Erin something, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, she's American, she is, and
Right.
a lot of like the American punk scene. Or
Yeah.
she's like a plastic punk rocker. I think she does
Right.
like a bit of journalism and stuff.
She looks good.
Yeah, she looks like she looks the part, to be honest. But
Well, I mean, the songs about when I first moved to London when I was a kid, a
yeah,
teenager, and I used to go to some of the best clubs, in London. I was quite a flamboyant teenager, so I used to get into a lot of places, and if the men weren't trying to fuck me, I was trying to buy the
yeah,
girls. And uh, the girls, like they were so cool, and I found them equally enticing and intimidating in equal
yeah,
and the songs about those girls, because they did look like the baddest girls in the
yeah,
world. They were
yeah,
very different from the girls in the town my mum and dad lived in, and
yeah.
tattoos, biker jackets, mohawks, skinheads. I mean, it looked great, and
Yeah.
I always thought I'd never be cool enough to be around those girls. But then I signed a huge record deal and got on the charts and went on top of the pops, and all of a sudden I'm cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm lucky enough to have grown up with those types of girls. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's a nod to your Joan Jetts, your Brody Dals.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's a nod to them. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool, man. All right. Yeah, I don't know what else to say now.
Well, I know you're touring with Mike Monroe as well, aren't you? On in May, so that'd be cool.
Yes, yeah. So we did two shows with Michael in December. We played in London, Electric Ballroom, and then we played Wolverhampton at KK's, and the shows were brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. And they Michael was celebrating the 40th anniversary of Two Steps on the Move, Hannah Rock's album, the classic, and it's one of my favorite albums when I was a kid. So, and I've known Michael a lot. I know most of his band as well, and it was just brilliant. And the no-brainer was like come out with us in May when they've got a handful of shows, so we're going back out with them, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's just great. It's great playing with someone like Michael because he gets a really good rock and roll punk rock crowd in, and he always puts on a brilliant show. So, it's like you can't play with Michael Monroe and be lazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
You have to go on stage and do your best show, and then he's going to come on and play the saxophone and do the splits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you can't be lazy. Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I got a lot of time for Rich Halo as well, and Sammy Yaffa, the bass player, who I've met in passing lots and lots of times, in LA and Finland, and he's always seems come across as someone I'd get on really well with. So it'd be really nice to get to know him better. And yeah, I just appreciate. I don't play live enough anymore, so I always miss playing live. So when I get to do shows, it's exciting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. How many shows are you doing with him?
I think it's about I think it's seven maybe, and we've got a couple of headlining shows because they're going over to Belfast, and we'll stay in England and do a couple of headlining shows. I think we've got one in Huddersfield and we're looking for one somewhere else. But and then I'm talking to other bands about going out after the summer, maybe
Okay.
going out doing another tour, another support tour in the summer. But we're just talking at the moment, so hopefully we'll be out again. September, October time.
Yeah,
Um,
oh, that'd be cool. So I think you're playing in Swansea as well.
we
Uh,
are, yeah. Is that is
yeah,
that down your way? Is it?
it is pretty close. Yeah, yeah. So I'll
Yeah,
have to check the date and I'll pop down and come down and see you. So that'd be good.
yeah. Come and say so. I mean, I have a really good. It's taken me. So I've had in different versions of my solo band over the decades, and the first version was around about 2006. So it's a good 20 years. I've had different bands in there, but the lineup I have now is I love it. I love the guys. We get on really well. They're amazing players. and there's like no egos, no drama, and they're kind of like they're like the band I wish I've had since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
We're just like best buddies, and the fact that we're going over to Japan in a few weeks is such an adventure for us. I mean, I've been there many times, and but it'll be a real adventure for them,
Mm.
and it's great. Just the fact we're all going over together, and we get to spend like 5 or 6 days out there, and it's just these are the things that I still smile about, and I never take for granted ever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you shouldn't.
Yeah.
A lot of musicians take too much for granted, and
Yeah.
hands up. I took things for granted back in the day, but I learned really quickly that the opportunities we were given and we threw away would never come round again.
Yeah,
And whatever smaller opportunities you get now as an older musician and as an older person, you never take them for granted and you embrace them with love and respect.
yeah. That's why you're talking to us, Dave.
You'd be surprised I know a lot of people my age and the egos on them is horrendous.
Mm.
It's horrendous. They'll walk in on a Thursday night in bloody Rugeley, walk into a pub with 50 people in there thinking they're a BG. It's awful. It's like, who the hell are you? And I agree. You're playing in front of 50 people on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
I got friends on the other scale. Like Jason, like Bold, who plays on all my solo albums, a drummer.
yeah,
He's the drummer in Bullet from a Valentine, and I just seen him, posting videos of him playing the O2 in London, and then last night he was in playing in front of like 30,000 people in Stuttgart, and he's
yeah,
the most down to earth guy you
yeah,
ever want to meet.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a arena rock star, and then you got these idiots with their acoustic guitars, playing in front of 50 people, thinking they're bloody Slash. It's like,
yeah,
get a grip,
yeah.
get a grip. You're not even close to being a rock star. If you're playing in front of 100 people with an acoustic guitar, you are not a rock star.
Oh, don't tell us that. Terry's given us a challenge because he came over to come back home during Christmas and we had a bit of a family get together and everything. So we said, right, pick a song and we're gonna learn it on the guitar and we're gonna sing it to the
Yeah.
family, which
What's the
I
song?
haven't picked up the guitar yet. So
David hasn't picked his guitar up yet.
But yeah, have you got the song? Yeah.
yeah, I picked
David
it
picked the
picked an
song.
easy one because there's only three chords. Free Falling by Tom Petty.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That or any Oasis song.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
They're quite easy to play. I mean, that's why people like Oasis. It's really simple music and it just goes for the jugular. You, you, I've always been a fan of pop. So if you listen to my solo stuff, they always have a chorus, and I get to that chorus as quickly as possible
yeah,
because I get really bored with really long songs. And when the Wildhearts used to record really long songs, I enjoyed it, but there's no way I could sit down and listen to a 10-minute song. I mean,
yeah,
I haven't got that much time, and it's like 3 minutes into any song, I want the next song to come on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but yeah, a Tom Petty song, an Oasis song, it's pop music.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
That's
was
it.
talking about. I'm a Bob Dylan fan, so I don't mind listening to long songs.
You think Bob Dylan sounds like Roland Rat?
No, I
That's
think
funny.
maybe Roland Rat sounds like Bob Dylan because Bob Dylan's been around a lot longer.
Next time you hear Bob Dylan, Roland Rat's going to pop up in your head.
Yeah,
Trust
maybe.
me. I've ruined Bob Dylan for at least 12 people so far. That movie's come out, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would call it bioepic or something. I don't know what it's
yeah.
called. But I said, Bob Dylan sounds like Roland Rat. And they went, people they say, go, you fucker, man.
Maybe he does in the movie, but there you go.
Maybe he did him. Maybe Bob Dylan is Roland Rat. Don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I believe it. But next time you hear Bob Dylan, how are you going to think of Roland Rat?
That's
Yeah,
that was Bob Dylan's side job.
could be. Side hustle,
He's
yeah.
been around, Bob Dylan. I'm
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
fan.
He just finished touring. Yeah.
How old is he? He's been like 100 or something now.
He's got to be 80, isn't he?
Yeah.
80. When was he born? I can't remember when he was born now.
You
He's
don't,
80,
you don't think
80
of,
odd.
you don't think, I mean, because I'm not a fan, I don't really, I'm not on the Bob Dylan radar or anything. So you don't really think of people, there's a lot of older musicians who I've never thought of about, and I know they're still out there, they're still touring, and
Yeah,
got to like take your hat off, man, and say, well
Yeah.
done,
yeah.
you know.
Well, look at the Stones, man. Flipping heck.
Yeah, I've been invited to see them in the summer. I'm not a fan like my wife is, but I've been invited to see them at one of their gigs.
That'd be
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to get the VIP treatment.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice. Well, if you don't want to go, I'll go with your wife instead.
we you know what? Was it last year, or the year before? It was the year before. We went over to her. She's a massive fan of what's his name? Billy Joel.
All right, yeah.
Huge fan. And he's like the king of New York, and
Yeah.
he had the longest kind of residency at Madison Square Gardens. We went to Madison Square Gardens to see Billy Joel,
Yeah.
and I'm not a big fan, so but it was a moment for her to
Mm.
see him in his home city, in his home gig. And I had no idea the gardens were, it holds like 20,000 people. It's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. But me in there, it's like I stood out like a sore thumb. Anyway, the amount of like older people came up to me asking me where the toilets were in the bar. I'm here to see Billy Joel. It's all right. I don't want. And then this British couple come up and start talking. Oh, you're British? Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to see Billy Idol. I'm really looking forward to seeing him tonight. And they were looking at me and they go, yeah, like, I stayed for a while. And they're going to, it's a different Billy. And I went, no, it's Billy Idol. And they went, no, it's Billy Joel. And I went, you're fucking joking. I'm just, no.
I don't know.
There you go. So anyway, I think we've covered all bases, haven't we?
Yeah,
Oh,
we had a
yeah.
good chat. Been really
Yeah.
nice talking to you.
Have we covered songs, old women?
I'll
The only
tell
thing
you
we
the one
haven't
thing we
covered.
haven't covered,
Yeah.
Go
and it
on.
was right at the end of the last chat we had, and you said we need to ask you about the army.
What do you want to know? So I grew up in the army. I grew up in the army. Yeah.
Yeah, because you said about going to war and stuff.
Well, me going to war.
Yeah.
We didn't find out I was a sniffer dog. Yeah. I was trained in the army. Yeah. Yeah. No, my dad was in the army
Ah,
for
okay.
25 years, and my dad was a medic for 25 years. My mum was a nurse in the British Army for 9 years,
All right.
and so I grew up on military bases all
Oh,
around.
so
So
you're
by the
like an
time
army
I was
brat then, yeah.
16, yeah, I'd lived in Germany. I spent a long time in Germany, 7 years, Singapore, Malaya. So I traveled around a lot. It's one of the things I'm trying to explain to my son because I went to 6 schools,
Yeah.
and he's gone to one primary school and he's about to go to his high school in September.
Yeah.
And I just just having the two schools because I
Yeah.
went three primary schools, three high schools,
Yeah.
and I had to make friends really quickly. I was always moving and stuff, but
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved growing up in the army, and I just thought everyone went to like army schools, and I only ever went to one civilian school, and that was
Right.
my very last school when I was 15, and it was the worst experience in my life.
No
Oh,
way.
Yeah, I'd never come across kind of hardcore racism, and I
yeah.
never came across skinheads, like proper skinheads and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd moved back to Britain after being in Germany for 7 years and living on military bases
Mm.
and going to school where everyone's mums and dads were in the army.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'd never been to like a civilian school, and there was no one in the army there, and all their mums and dads just did normal jobs and stuff, but there was a lot of trouble. It was in North Essex. There was a lot of trouble there, and I consequently just dropped out of school and left with absolutely no qualifications. So
Yeah.
harrowing time, but
Yeah.
those Up until I was 15, I loved it. Loved being
Yeah,
living
yeah,
on army bases, and I just thought everyone carried guns and everyone had
Yeah.
heavy tanks in their back garden.
yeah.
I think I went to like 6 different schools, but I was just because my mum kept getting divorced.
If you were back,
You kept getting expelled, more like.
I think you kept on moving around for that. You went to really, moved around that much?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, did you find that unsettled upbringing kind of bled into your adult life? Because it did for me for a long time.
Yeah,
It's one of the
to be
reasons why I
honest.
like being a band because you're traveling all the time. You
Yeah,
never spend stop. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it took me, I didn't feel settled until I was in my 40s, properly.
yeah.
So, yeah, it took me a long time to,
Well, it took
to
me till
really,
I was in my 50s.
yeah, yeah. My son had a lot to do with that. I was 46 when he arrived, and it was a real grounding moment for me.
Yeah,
Like, I don't particularly like living in Yorkshire. The weather's shit and the food is fucking awful.
yeah.
People are lovely, but he's grounded me. I'm stuck here until he's 18 and then I'm fucking off. No offense, Yorkshire, but yeah, I need to go somewhere where it's warm and then make a
Yeah.
decent going. Look, if you like pie, it's great up here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Pie, the dogging is amazing in Yorkshire. The quality of the dog you get up here, man, the truck driver, it's just sublime.
Big baps.
On that note, we should end this because I'm going to the Asda car park now to try and find my proper. I have to wear gloves now because they recognise my hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's you, CJ. You know the things I can do with these fingers. You'd be so surprised, mate. I tell you what, your beard would go at least a foot if I got my hands on you, mate.
Those days are gone.
You love it, lot. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, mate.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks
for
for coming
having a
on.
chat to us, and good luck
Brilliant.
in Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah, have a great
yeah.
time. And
Yeah,
hopefully
Excellent.
I'll see you in
Thank you very
Swansea.
much.
yeah,
Hey, yeah, keep on contact. And next time I release an album, let's do this again.
yeah.
Okay,
We will.
cool.
Okay,
See you in
brilliant.
September.
Yeah, next
Yeah,
time we talk, ask me about the wood.
the woods. Oh, God. I'll
See
write
you
it down
later.
now.
Take care.
Take
All
care.
right.
Bye bye.
Ciao, mate.
That. Oh, great guy.
It's funny, isn't he?
Yeah, really funny.
All right, Davey.
Yeah, it was good. Our first one back for a long, long time.
Yeah, Dakota said they would get back in touch with me, but they haven't. I'll drop them a message in a minute.
Okay, all right,
They've been
fine.
busy with rehearsals last week
Okay.
because obviously they got that new singer. So
Yeah.
I'll shoot them a message now and. But any day next week except Thursday then.
Okay. Yeah, I dropped him a message, so we'll see what day we can get him on.
Okay, cool.
I'm here next week. I'm here, I think, the week after, and then we're away.
Okay, let's try and get a couple in then.
Yeah. Because I got to do my clothes this weekend because she's getting stressed.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I haven't prepared anything. She reckons I haven't got swimming shorts. So I went to TK Maxx. Do you know what I bought?
Swimming shorts.
Socks. Nope,
Oh,
socks. All I've got two packs of trainer socks and a pack of normal socks that I can wear with my jeans when I go over there.
okay.
And then I went to Cumbrian Town and bought some like those shorts I was on about were medium.
Yeah, yeah.
I now got a body of a Greek
Good
dog.
God. Yeah.
I do feel more comfortable, mine.
Yeah, it's
It's
surprising, isn't it?
surprising the difference it makes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is a stone, but Curtis said he had noticed it off my chest. I've always had skinny arms anyway, haven't I? So but I think if I lose another half stone,
Yeah.
then I'll start jogging because I think I'm still too a bit clumpy to be jogging at this weight. So another
Okay.
half stone and then I'll start jogging just to try and not to lose any more, but just to try and maintain it a bit easier then.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, it's been good. Rice and beans. I had it for dinner today.
Nice. All right. Oh, you had your dinner, have you?
That was dinner. I haven't had my
Oh,
tea yet.
oh right. Okay. All right. No worries. I'll let you get off and have your tea then.
Cookie cokey.
And give my love to Sarah.
Do yeah. Give love to Sherry.
I will. I can hear him making the tea. So
Good, good. I was going to say, it's a bit like what Sherry had under the table before you guys went home, isn't it?
yeah.
Year on it.
Yeah.
She drunk all them tea bags yet?
No, not yet. Working on it, working on it. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I meant to message you. Look at that. Did you see that Arsenal game? I didn't watch it. The Arsenal game last week against Man City? 5-1.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I seen the result because it was
Yeah.
1-1, and then all of a sudden they just smashed them. Yeah,
Smashed them, yeah.
yeah.
It's like,
Man
oh,
United are on now at 8 o'clock, and we're playing
sorry.
Leicester in the FA Cup.
All right.
So we'll probably lose 5-1 because we're getting
Probably.
embarrassing.
All right then, mate.
All
All
right,
right.
take it easy.
And you.
All right
And
then.
I'll speak to you over the weekend.
Okay, no worries. Yeah.
Tra.
Ta-ra.